My name is Maylin and welcome back to my channel. I'm a flutist, music teacher, and performer located in the city of Toronto, Canada, and this is my series where we learn how to play the flute from scratch. So thank you so much for joining me here again today. In today's video, we'll be practicing in G minor, so if you're interested, just keep watching. If you have any questions throughout the video, please feel free to drop them in the comment section down below so I can respond to them as soon as possible. Also, if you are having any issues when it comes to practicing, feel free to check out my free practice guide, also linked down in the description down below. I actually just recently updated it, so I added ways to help create musical goals when you are just establishing your practice session. And again, it has 8 easy steps that you can follow. As well, I made it really nice and printer friendly, so it should be easy for everyone to follow. It's only 5 pages long, so it's all there for you if you're interested. So thank you so much, and let's just get right into it. As per usual, we'll be looking at my favorite book here, the Treble-Wise Beginner Book, Part 1 for the flute, and we'll be starting on page 39. First, we're going to start off with a really beautiful tone exercise. This is going to help to warm us up for today. So I'm just going to put it up right over here. All right, so if you take a look, it starts off on a B again. As a reminder, that little arch there with the dot in the middle is called a fermata, and that means that you hold the note for longer than it's written, at least half of the note value. So in this case, again, this is a whole note. So a whole note has 4 beats, so you would want to add at least an extra 2, so it's at least a minimum 6 beats. If you look through it, it's going to be very simple. I'm not going to clap this. I will play it for you. What's really cool about this one is that you're slowly chromatically going down all the way to the lowest note that you can play so far, which is that low D. Make sure that you notice that it starts piano, and then as you play it, it goes to forte. And there's repeats for every single bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play through all of them without the repeats. When you are actually doing the exercise, definitely repeat it at least once, just so that you can make a comparison when it comes to the sound and the tone quality of your playing. All right. So the reason why Mr. Y writes the first note as B being in a fermata is because we use that note as beginners to get a really nice, beautiful open sound. So I would play that B for as many times as you need. So taking breaths if you need to, if you feel like you're not quite where you want that B to sound, until you get that sound that sounds good in your ears. So I'm going to play it for you. I'm not going to count it. This is an exercise where take your time with the notes. I would not necessarily want to keep it in time. Definitely be aware of the note values. So we want to hold the last note for the longest. I'll just play it for you so you can kind of get what I'm talking about. that's just an example of how I would approach playing this exercise. So I did repeat the first 2 bars just so that you can get an idea of how you'd want to approach it. So when I'm playing these exercises, I'm really focusing on 2 major things. I'm focusing on my breath and I'm focusing on my embouchure as well. So as I'm going through those notes, especially with the air, as we are putting more air into the instrument and we're going lower into the register range, notice the little things that need to change in order for the notes to come out. So as you go down, the focus of the air tends to go further down into the instrument. And of course, when we start piano, there's a lot less air. And then by the time we've grown and gone to forte, we're putting a lot more air into the instrument. So really take the time to experiment with that exercise and really enjoy it. Definitely take breaks at the beginning. It can be really... it can feel like it's a lot and it can be very tiring, and that's totally okay. Take as many breaks and rest that you need. Make sure that every single time that you start a new bar that you take a really deep, beautiful breath. So making sure again that we're expanding all of our lungs and our stomach, almost like we're yawning, so that we have all the air that we need in order to make the most beautiful sound possible. All right, so now we're going into the scale exercise. So I'm going to put it up right over here. So the scale exercise again is very similar to the other scale exercises that we did before. So I'll go over and do the clapping count again just to recap that rhythm. And then of course before we start, I just want to go over again the key signature here. So just notice that the key signature for G minor is B flat major's relative minor. So we have B flat and E flat that we need to make sure that we play as we do the G minor scale. And also make sure that you notice where the accidentals are. So we have some F sharps in there, of course, which is the leading tone to the tonic, which is G. And then we also have an E natural as well. And of course, we're in 4/4, so that is 4 quarter notes per measure. So I'm going to take it at 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. All right, and I'll play it for you just so you can get it into your ear. And again, don't forget that in G minor, we are playing B flat and E flat. So I'll take it at that same tempo. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Very good. All right, and now we're going to move on to the next piece, and that's going to be the Swedish folk song. So on the same page, I'm going to put it up right over here. So the Swedish folk song is a duet. So we'll do the first part and the second part. I already looked before, and just to let you know, the rhythm is exactly the same. There's no change or alteration between the first and the second part. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to do the clapping count for both of them first, and then I'll play the first part, and then I'll play the second part for you. So just make a note that the tempo marking here is andante, which means slowly, and also that we're starting on a pickup bar. So we are starting on beat 4. So first I'm going to count a full bar, and then I'll count the very beginning of that bar and then come in on beat 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, So now I'm going to play the flute part for you. For the first part, just make notice that there are accidentals mostly just on that second line, so there's none in the first line. And then the dynamic markings are for both parts at the same time. So we're starting off at P, which means piano, which means softly. We have a large crescendo that is going through the second and the third full bars there, and then we get to a mezzo forte, which is about a medium loud, and then we go down again, decrescendo to piano at the end of that bar, and then we have a few hairpins, so that means we grow, and then we come away from that. In the second line there, for the first bar, the second bar, and then we have another hairpin between the last two bars there. Okay, so I'll play it again at that same tempo. So 1, 2, 3. I really like this duet. It's beautiful. It's very moody and broody. It really shows off the minor scale, the G minor scale. All right, so now I'm going to play the second part. Again, it's exactly the same rhythm as the first part. And just be aware that this one has a lot more accidentals, so we have lots of F sharps and E naturals all around. 1, 2, 3. So I really hope that you enjoyed that one, and just make sure that you do take notice of where we do have some different articulation. So we have the two slurred when it comes to the eighth notes and in the full complete bar 3, and then also when we change from that and we go back to just two slurred and then tongued after that. Yeah, so very good. And now we're going to go to our last duet. I'm going to flip the page here to page 40. And the last one we're going to be doing today is Dudley's Grunt, so I'm going to put it up right here. So this one is, we're learning a new term here, and this is the da capo. So I'm going to just read what Mr. Bai wrote right over here. So da capo, shortened to DC, means go back to the beginning. You will often find instruction DC al fine. So that would mean go back to the beginning and then end with the fine is. So fine meaning finished or the end. So if we take a look here, we look for the DC al fine, so that's almost always going to be at the end because it means that you go back to the beginning. So if you look at the third line there, just above the first part, we have that DC al fine. And then we want to find where that fine is. So look for, there's always going to be a double bar line and then fine largely written above it. So I can see the fine on the second line, again above the first part, on the 1, 2, 3, the third bar there. Yeah. Okay, so as always, we're going to do the clapping count first. Again, notice that we're in G minor, of course, so B flat, E flat, and then notice that there are some F sharps as well. And then the tempo marking here is andantino, which means less slowly than andante, so it's quite, so not as slow as andante. And we're in 3/4, so again, make sure that we have that nice 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's going to be a lot slower than we're used to, but that's going to be totally okay. All right, so what I'm going to do with the clapping count is I'm going to clap and count just from the beginning to the end, but then of course when we play it, I'll go back to the beginning and then play it to the fine. So I'm going to take it at this tempo. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3, 1, and 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, and 2, and 3, 1, and 2, and 3, 1, and 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3. Okay. So now I'm going to play it for you. I'll play it again at that same tempo, and just make sure that you're taking notice of any of the dynamic markings and where we have some accents so that they look like this. So again, that's for a breath attack, so that means that it's a lot stronger at the beginning of the note. And then we also have a rel at the very end before we return back to the fluting. All right. So I'll take it again at that same tempo. 1, 2, and 3. So that's the first part, and now I'll be going over the second part. So again, we're going to start with that clap and count. I'll take it again at that same tempo. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Alright, yeah, so that one's a lot more simple than the first part. However, the challenging part of the second part is going to be playing in that lower register. Okay, so I'm going to play it for you now, and I'm going to do it at that same tempo. So 1, 2, 3. good. So that's going to be it for today's video. I know this one is a little bit long, so I hope that you enjoyed the lesson today. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comment section down below. Also, if you are having any issues with practicing, you just need some easy steps to help you structure that and to help you with your musical goals, feel free to check out my free practice guide located in the description down below. Again, it gives you 8 easy steps to follow, plus the new update where it helps you to create your own musical goals for every single practice session that you make, or that you have, excuse me. Also, please be sure if you like this video to like and subscribe, and if you want, feel free to share it wherever you'd like. I'm happy to have my lessons available to everyone around the world. So be sure to join me for next week. In next week's video, we'll be learning upper E, upper F, and A minor. So thank you so much again for watching, and as always, happy fluting!